Okay, pero
Yeah.
kasi pag po kasi nag-decide kayo na, okay, I'll throw everything out the window, magti-TNT na ako, wala,
Mhm.
bahala na hanggang ma-deport ako. No.
Hey guys, here in a nutshell with me, Ina. Naku, I'm sure na balitaan nyo na. Ito na nga bagong announced na rules regarding open work permits granted to family members of foreign workers and international students. In this episode, we're gonna talk about that and really simplify, give you an idea. Sa totoo lang kung gaano kahirap na ngayon ang pagkuha ng work permits for family members. This will help you understand just how difficult the situation has become. Parang real talk lang tayo, Dayanara, diba, for this episode. Welcome, Dayanara in Puerto Bantigue. Her information will be down there in the description box. Grabe, Dayanara. No, we were just talking about this in our last episode.
Yes, a few days ago, Miss Ina, we were talking about this and now it's here. Jaran!
Oo.
Parang sabi ng IRCC, Jaran! Eto na.
Correct. Saka eto, to be honest, medyo tama naman yung ating information in the last episode. But of course, there's just some details na talagang na-release na ngayon. Okay? And again, nako, wala nang paligoy-ligoy pa. Medyo mahirap na talaga ngayon magdala ng family members. O sige, let's get into the details. All these changes will take effect on January 21st.
21st,
Okay,
opo.
so ilang araw na lang. Ano na ba dito? Nako-confuse ako, guys. Sorry, kakadating ko lang sa
Or
Canada.
5 days? We have 5
Okay, five
days
days
from
to go
today. Yeah.
since publishing. O sige. So, yeah, tell us first the biggest changes. First for, international students.
Opo.
Ano ngayon ang situation nila? Will they still be able to bring their families here?
Yes. So, well, for international students, the case usually is the family is already here. So, kumbaga, their spouse is already here. So, just to give a little bit of an idea po to our viewers, yung mga anak, yung mga minors, they can still study. Wala pong nabago doon. So, minor children can still apply for study permits for minors and continue their studies in Canada along with the parent. So, as long as may isang parent na merong work permit, pwede yon, or a study permit, pwede pa rin po sila. Yung mga adult children, yung mga nasa 18, 19 years old and above, yung gumraduate na po ng grade 12, sila po ngayon ay hindi na pwedeng mag-apply ng open work permit, unlike before na merong mga adult children ng mga workers na nabibigyan sila ng open work permit. Ngayon po ay hindi na ito pwede. For the spouses of international students applying for PGWP and other temporary workers, yung po mga naka-LMIA, hindi na po ngayon pwedeng mag-apply ng open work permit, yung mga nasa tier 4 or 5 occupations. And then yung ilan po na nasa tier 2 or 3, kasi po ang eligibility po ngayon ay yung mga na, kumbaga, makakapag-apply ka lang ng open work permit for your spouse if you are working or will be employed in tier 0 or 1 occupations, or select tier 2 or 3 occupations in sectors with labor shortages or linked to government priority. So, nag-identify po ang IRCC ng natural and applied sciences. So, I think these are those who are in IT and engineering, usually, yeah, natural and applied sciences, construction, healthcare, natural resources. So this can involve energy, environmental, water and wastewater system programs, mga ganyan po. Education. So this may involve those who are in early childhood education,
Yan.
educational assistance, yung mga ganyan po, or those who are studying special education. Sports. Ito medyo nabago to sa akin. Yung sports.
Oo nga Ba't kaya may sports bigla,
Medyo
no?
bago to sa akin. So, it's a happy thing. Anything that they add to this, I like. But ngayon may sports. So, I don't know why, kung anong mga occupations itong related to sports na ilalabas po nila, and military sectors. So, the full list po will be available on January 21st, 2025.
Yeah. Full list meaning, Dayanara, the specific positions in these fields.
I would expect ang listahan po na ito will be composed of NOC codes. So yung po mga 5-digit codes na specific po na dapat iyon ang trabaho nung, let's say, PHWP applicant or temporary foreign worker na naka-LMIA para po ma-i-apply niya ng open work permit yung kanya pong asawa or common law partner.
Okay, again guys automatic pwede ang nasa tier 1, 0 and 1.
Yes po.
Okay? Yung binabanggit na fields ni Dayanara, those will be for those in tier 2 and 3.
Yes po.
Okay? Baka pwede pa kayo, depende dun sa i-release. Pwede pa kayo kung nando kayo sa field na nabanggit ni Dayanara and ma-include yung iyong position dun sa ilalabas na list sa January 21st. Okay, wait. Unahin ko lang, Dayanara. Sabi mo kanina, yung mga adult children, yung mga nandito na, okay? Baka masaktuhan ako. Gagraduate na ng yung anak, 18 na pala, sorry. 18 na, ano gagawin niya? Nandito na siya, tapos hindi siya pwede mag-apply ng work permit.
Well, the child can choose to apply for a study permit kung gusto niyang mag-aral, but understand that the child will have to pay the international student fees dahil international student pa din yung bata. So if the family can afford it, they can send the child to school. Or the child can also apply for a visitor record in order to be able to stay with the family habang naghihintay po ng kumbaga PR ng family, pwede silang makapag-stay, or they can opt to return to the Philippines or to their home countries, possibly go to school, depende kung ano yung magiging options niya at kung meron siyang makakasama doon. But the visitor record is a real possibility and it's still an available avenue to allow the child to stay with the family.
Okay. Who do you think, Dayanara, is the most affected group dito sa bagong changes na ito?
Well, Miss Ina, across the board naman ito.
Yeah.
Kasi I would say families of international students, families of workers, a lot of them will be affected. Nakakalungkot lang kasi I think ang inaasahan ko sana, Miss Ina, is sana merong nasa tier 4 or 5 position pa din nasa listahan. Yung mga nasa machine operators sa food processing, yung mga, alam mo yun, yung mga integral, yung kailangan sila ng mga provinces. Like for example, in Ontario, there is a PR pathway created for tier 4 or 5 workers. It's called OINP and Demands 3. Meron silang listahan doon ng mga kailangan nila, material handlers, laborers in food processing. Kasi sila yung they take care of our food security. They take care of manufacturing. They bring, money into the economy. Sana sinama nila yun sa listahan. And I don't know, maybe one day they will update it to include those. But I would say everybody who is in tier 4 or 5 positions, na may mga pamilya sa loob at labas ng Canada na gusto nilang makasama, apektado po talaga sila.
Oo. Will this affect those, Dayanara, na nabigyan na, okay, nasabi mong tier 4 or 5 sila?
Apo.
Nandito na asawa nila, nabigyan na ng work permit. Pag kailangan mag-renew nung asawa, will those spouses still be given or not anymore?
Let me just double check.
Or should they expect a refusal?
I don't think renewal is a possibility kasi they will only allow for extension in certain situations. So for example, extensions may only be allowed kapag number 1, kulang yung time ng international student, kulang yung nakuha niyang time para matapos niya yung program niya, so pwede silang mag-extend along with the family member. O kaya, dahil nagka-problema sa passport yung isang family member, maigsi yung nakuha niya na permit, dahil ma-expire na yung passport niya, pwede pa niya yun i-extend as long as they are applying under the same criteria as the current work permit. Okay. And nagma-match yung duration doon sa existing study or work permit nung principal applicant. So may mga ganong case kasi, Ms. Ina, kunyari, yung principal applicant, ang binigay sa kanya 3 years. Tapos yung asawa, ang binigay lang 1 year kasi yung kanyang passport may expire na. So kulang. Yun, pwede silang mag-apply ng extension kasi it's the same criteria. Kumbaga, the same parameters. Pero kung magbabago yung sitwasyon, for example, from study permit, mapupunta yung applicant to post-graduation work permit, that's a different situation now, a different parameter. an extension is not allowed in that case unless magka-qualify si PGWP applicant based sa magiging trabaho niya. Diba?
Okay.
Kung magiging trabaho niya yung isa doon sa nandun sa listahan po na lalabas sa January 21st.
Ayun. And also, you forgot, by the way guys ito yung tawag dito, yung information updated on the Canadian government's website about these changes, okay? So pwede niyo rin puntahan yan. Dito po nakabata yung ating discussion. Yung, we forgot to mention pala, Dayanara, one other requirement for those who may be given family work permits, dapat yung work or yung job offer is for minimum of 16 months.
Apo. Not the job offer po, Ms. Ina, but the work permit na
sorry, the work
eligible
permit.
na applyan. Yes. So, for example
okay.
po,
Can you clarify that, please?
so for example po, yung temporary foreign worker ay meron pa siyang work permit na more than 16 months yung validity at yung trabaho niya belongs to the list na meron po tayo yung eligible occupations, pwede po siyang mag-apply. Pwede po niyang i-apply ng open work permit yung kanyang spouse. Pero kapag bumaba na sa less than 16 months, hindi na po pwede. Ang common question dito, Messina, is paano yung mga naka-PGWP? Kasi hindi pa nila hawak yung PGWP. Kadalasan pagka-graduate po nila, kasabay nilang i-apply yung kanilang mga pamilya. Pagsabay kayo, ibig sabihin wala pang work permit yung isa.
Okay.
Pero isasabay mo na ng apply yung asawa mo. So, wala po silang specific na inilabas na change dito. Pero kung ako ang gagawin ko to para sa sarili ko, as long as meron na po kayong job offer sa trabaho na nandoon po sa listahan, na lalabas sa January 21st, I would say pwede pa ring sabay na mag-apply. Kasi ang gagawin po dyan ng IRCC is i-approve muna yung PGWP applicant bago nila i-approve yung pamilya. So, ganun pa din. Pero kapag ka po yung international student ay nag-aral lang ng 1-year program. So, kapag ka nag-aral ka lang ng 1-year program, 1 year lang ang post-graduation work permit na pwede sa'yo, then hindi mo pwedeng i-apply yung iyong spouse dahil this is less than 16 months.
Yun, automatic hindi ka napasok.
Yes po.
Oo, no. Isa pang automatic na hindi ka napasok, yung mga paparating din, likely pala, no? Sorry, not automatic, but highly likely na yung mga darating po through Lamia, hindi rin mapagbibigyan ang kanilang mga asawa. Bakit? Dahil nauna nag-impose ang Canada ng rule na, di ba, ililimit lang yung mga contracts na mga incoming Lamia
for 1 year.
1 year.
Yes po. But exempted naman po dito yung mga nasa in-demand fields like construction. I have 2 clients actually. Kaka-approve lang recently na nasa agriculture sila. They were given 2 years.
Okay, good.
Yan. So, pero the problem is yung NOC ng client ko na yun is 85100, which is like farm worker. Because it's under Tier 5, well, hindi niya pwedeng isabay yung asawa niya. Ang maganda lang kasi sa kanila po is 2 mag-asawa yon na 2 binigyan ng LMIA, kaya magkasama sila. Yun yung maganda.
Okay.
Pero kung ang nangyari po ay isa lang sa kanila yung binigyan tapos inabutan sila ng rule dahil yung NOC code is 85100, unfortunately, hindi po ngayon pwede. Opo.
Okay, just to clarify, for incoming pa lang na Lamia worker,
Apo.
Tier 1 and 2 ang kanyang position.
Apo.
Pero 1-year contract. Would he or she be able to bring
No.
the spouse? Hindi pa din.
It has to be 16 months. The work permit has to be...
Both or yun end pala yun dapat. Okay.
Apo.
Nako. Parang wala na, no? Anyway, talagang solo muna. So what advice do you give to those people, Dayanara, who might say, sige, Dayanara, okay, hindi ko madadala asawa ko, but eventually I want to bring them. What advice can you give them? Both for international students and temporary foreign workers.
It really depends, Ms. Ina, on the ability of the family, like yung financial ability nila. Some people would opt to habang naka-PGWP yung asawa, nag-aaral yung isa ng isang in-demand occupation, isang program that leads to an in-demand occupation that may allow the person to apply for PGWP then after. Some people do that. Depende po yan sa financial capacity ng pamilya. Kasi I am so happy to say na meron po tayong mga Filipinos dito na pinaghandaan nila yan, nag-ipon sila. So meron silang parang financial capacity na to send the other person to school habang yung isa ay naka-work permit. Alam mo yun, they were able to do that. I'm so happy to say that I do work with some of them. And then there are some naman po na they choose to apply for visitor visa muna. So for example, wala pang trabaho si study permit holder, wala tayong magagawa, wala siyang job offer, pero kailangan na niyang mag-apply ng post-graduation work permit. Hindi niya ngayon ma-apply yung asawa niya. Yung asawa po ay maaaring mag-apply ng visitor record habang hinihintay na magkaroon po ng trabaho ngayon. Itong si PGWP holder at ma-apply siya ng open work permit niya. So, that's also a possibility. But, sa mga gagawa po niyan, make sure na, well, hopefully, makapag-apply po kayo bago maging less than 16 months na lang yung availability po ng PGWP.
Yeah, oo. For the international students, Dayanara, na nag-aaral pa, okay, pa-PGWP lang, I think kailangan talaga i-stress din that if they do want to eventually get their spouses,
yes,
kailangan targetin nila yung trabahong nasa tier
0, 1, or yung nandun po sa listahan. Yes. So a lot of, I would say a lot of people are waiting for that list na lalabas po sa January 21st, especially yung mga gagraduate ngayong April, kasi yun na po yung next Yung next graduation season ay around March, April. So a lot of, sila yung sasapul ngayon nung first implementation nung bagong rules sila talaga. So sila ngayon yung magkukumahog na makahanap ng trabaho that falls under, those NOCs. Isa rin po sa masasabi kong kailangan ninyong ingatan is yung dokumento na magpapatunay na yung trabaho mo talaga belongs to that NOC code. So for example, if you're claiming NOC 6-2020, parang ganyan, kunyari ganyan, kailangan yung inyo pong papeles ay malinaw, yung inyo pong certificate of employment ay malinaw na ito ang NOC code po ninyo. Kasi I'm sure IRCC visa officers will now be more discerning, magkakaroon ngayon ng more scrutiny doon sa certificate of employment na ipapasa nila. Make sure na kompleto po ito, merong yung logo ng company, tapos may date, tapos nandun yung trabaho, nandun yung NOC code, and nandun yung duties and responsibilities po that fall under that particular NOC code, plus pirma, contact number po ng supervisor or HR officer o kung sino man na pwede pong kausapin ng IRCC for verification.
Nako, oo nga. I've been reading sa mga commentaries from different RCICs din, Dayanara, saying na parang padami ngayon yung ini-issue na PFS, what do you call it?
Procedural fairness letters.
Yeah, basically talagang mas nagiging strict sila sa pag-assess sa lahat ng mga applications, inquiring about yung ano talaga yung mga sinusulat nyo dyan. So yun yung sinasabi niya.
I have a client na nag-apply na kami ng PR tapos biglang in-return yung application niya because of lack of signature.
Mga ganun.
Pero may mga client naman ako na konti lang yung, hindi naman nila yun i-refuse, hingi lang sila ng dokumento or mag-issue lang sila ng PFL for clarification. So iba-iba din po kasi ang visa officer. Ang lagi ko pong ina-advise is, especially if you wish to do this on your own, there are risks to every application. But understand na iba-iba rin ang visa officer. So you always err on the side of caution and always be honest.
Yeah.
Yan po ang aking maia-advise. Kasi kung may problema ka, sabihin mo na, i-explain mo na, bago pa nila madiskubre at mapunta ka pa sa misrepresentation situation, don't wanna do that. That's very difficult.
Yeah. Yung sa sinasabi mo, Dayanara, na yun na nga for those who would be applying for PGWP na kailangan targetin mo talaga yung higher positions na mga trabaho. Realistically speaking, hindi yun yung norm, no, Dayanara? Most of the time, our international students start off with those in tier 4 and 5, diba? Am I right? Oh.
Yes, definitely. Definitely po. Yeah, for example, kahit ako na lang po, nung time ko as an international student, I was a call center agent. So that's a tier
Mhm.
4 position. 'Di ba? If I had I stayed, I probably would have gotten into like a team leader position, eventually down the line, mapupunta ka doon. But it's really hard, and a lot of us, syempre po, a lot of us do start talaga from the bottom.
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that this time, you have to be more strategic about it instead of kung ang desisyon ng pamilya is hindi, dito lang tayo sa Toronto, hindi tayo alis kasi nandito ang mga pamilya natin, ganyan-ganyan. It's about time to consider, widening your net. Kumbaga,
Mhm.
sending your resumes to areas that are, kung hindi mo kino-consider dati. Trying to see if there's a possibility to enter into a field na hindi mo ine-expect na papasukin mo before. So
Mhm.
changing careers, being more open-minded, yeah, those traits will be necessary now.
Oo. Would that be an issue for for IRCC, Dayanara?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, eventually you try to get your spouse kasi nakakuha ka ng Tier 01 job. Pero that job was not in line with what you
Mm-hmm.
studied as an international student.
Mm-hmm.
Is that an issue, no?
No,
Okay.
thankfully. With
Kasi may
Canada,
nagtatanong nun parang, hoy, mali yan, dapat kung ano yung inaral mo, dun din yung babagsakan mo. Parang ganun daw.
that's weird.
Oo,
Kasi
hindi naman
iba-iba.
necessarily, di
Opo,
ba?
iba-iba. I mean, merong pong mga PR pathways gaya po ng Alberta Opportunity Stream na ang requirement nila is dapat kamukha. Dapat kung ano
Mm-mm.
yung inaral mo, yun din yung trabaho mo. May mga
Okay.
ganun. But I'm so happy to say na other PR pathways are not like that.
Mm.
And employers in Canada are honestly, as long as you're able to perform the job, they're not discriminatory, most of them.
Mm-mm.
There are jobs na, for example, ang career mo sa Dubai ay nasa supply chain ka, tapos syempre nag-aral ka ng ibang field, tapos ngayon gusto mong bumalik sa supply chain, you have the skills. Why not, 'di ba? If you have an employer who will trust you. So, luckily in Canada, we can always, start a new career.
Yeah,
We can
okay.
always be open to that. Yeah.
Okay. Ito pa, isa pang example, Dayanara. Ano na, post-graduation work permit na ngayon.
Apo.
Okay? At may work permit na ang spouse.
Yes po.
Ang trabaho ni PGWP ay hindi pasok. Okay? It's tier 3 and 4, sabihin mo na. Or wala rin
Apo.
sa exceptions. Ma-extend kaya kung kailanganin si spousal work permit?
Ooh.
Kunyari, sabihin mo ng si PGWP kasi is 3 years or something yung kanyang
Opo.
PGWP. Pero
Opo.
midway na sila doon. Meron bang scenarios na mag-expire earlier yung spousal work permit na kailanganin niyang mag-renew during this period? And would he or she be able to do that, palagay mo?
Well, kung yung principal applicant po or yung PGWP holder ay hindi nakapagtrabaho or wala siyang job offer doon sa nasa listahan, I doubt it. I doubt if there can be an extension that way kasi magbabago na po yung parameters eh. Dati, yung kanyang spousal open work permit ay under nung study permit nung kanyang asawa. Bago na yung parameters, PGWP na this time, so iba na yung rule. Ang rule is dapat yung PGWP holder ay may ganitong trabaho. So,
okay.
Yeah, ibang usapan na po siya. Yeah.
Oo. Hay, nako. Siguro in closing, meron pa ba tayong na-miss na Dayanara before I go to my last question? I just don't wanna miss anything.
I'm just checking. Okay, so yung pong meron pa rin naman pong mga spouses na hindi apektado. So for example, those who are working in free trade agreements, ito po yung agreements ng Canada shared to other countries. I don't think we have that in the Philippines. And those transitioning to permanent residence. So ito po yung mga masuswerteng aplikante na nakapag-apply na ng PR, hawak na nila yung kanila acknowledgement of receipt or approved in principle na sila. Na nag-a-apply na sila ng bridging open work permit or closed work permit tied to their PR applications. Hindi po ito apektado, hindi po sila apektado. I believe this is mainly for those who are spouses po talaga of international students transitioning to PGWP and temporary foreign workers po.
Ayun. Ay, nako. Ako, ito na lang yung last question ko. Actually, na-mention ko to kay Dayanara bago kami mag-record. that, I've been reading, sabi ko, kakot sa mga commentaries also of other RCICs on social media, saying that with all these changes, especially itong bago, 2025 daw will really turn out to be a year of refusals. Yeah, what do you think about that? Do you agree?
I mean, 2025 as the year of refusals.
Ano lang yun opinion lang po yun ng mga ilan ko nababasa. Parang nafo-foresee nila na with all these changes, inevitable na marami ang hindi makakapag-renew, makakapag-extend ng mga work permit, mapapauwi. Yun ang sinasabi nila.
Yes, I mean, I really don't want to, kasi ang lagi kong iniisip yung mga kliyente ko po eh.
Yeah.
Ko dito tuwing may mga ganitong change, sila talaga yung iniisip ko. And sad to say, there is this possibility, of course, na talagang it will be a year of refusal, which is why you have to make each application count. Okay? You have to make sure, kung dati kaya natin yung kumbaga, to use the colloquial term, pabanjing-banjing tayo ng application. Kumbaga, kung ano maipasa natin, ganyan. This time, it's really the quality of your applications that would matter. Sa dami ng backlog, oras na ma-refuse ka for a work permit, mag-apply ka ng restoration, hindi ka makakapagtrabaho, it can take months. Kumbaga, yung repercussion ng refusal, mabigat. Kasi malaki mahaba yung backlog. So, kung mag-a-apply po kayo and you want to make sure that you have like a high chance of approval, protect the quality, ensure the quality of your application, make sure na meron kayong attached na mga explanation letter for any possible issue na haharapin ng visa officer. Kumbaga, put yourself in their position na ang dami kong kailangan gawin, ang dami nilang iniisip, paano mo mapapadali yung trabaho nila para ma-lessen din po yung chance of refusal. And kung kailangan mo talagang umuwi ka. Okay? Kung walang pera pang stay sa Canada as a visitor, walang hinihintay na PR pathway, hindi nag-work yung plano. Hindi talaga nag-work, hindi nag-pan out. Nag-international student ka, nag-LMIA ka, hindi nag-pan out yung plano. Sunod sa batas, umuwi po tayo sa ating, go home to our, home countries. Preserve the chance to come back to Canada when things change. Because understand that immigration is always going to be a part of a political issue. And 2025 is maybe a year of refusal, but it's also an election year. So we don't know what's gonna happen after the election, and we don't know who's gonna be our next leader or what will happen to immigration. But at the end of the day, if you have to go home, then go home para may ability pa po kayo makabalik ng Canada ng legal, ng walang problema in the future. Okay? Pero kasi nag-decide kayo na, okay, I'll throw everything out the window, magti-TNT na ako, bahala na hanggang ma-deport ako. No. Kasi pag ginawa nyo po yan, you'll be throwing, whatever chance of going back to Canada in the future away. You're going to throw all of that away, and that's not worth it. Okay?
Yeah, lalo na kung ang end goal mo is to bring your entire family over.
Yes. Lalo po kung may anak ka na Canadian citizen, may anak ka na maliit na Canadian citizen na gusto mong makasama, gusto mong magkaroon ng future. Don't waste that time and don't throw it away by, pang sandaling, alam mo yun, kita. Dahil, magti-TNT po kayo. So always think of like, ano yung pwede natin gawin in the long run, saan tayo mas magbe-benefit in the long run. Ganyan. And don't hesitate to send emails, don't hesitate to send kumbaga seek help as soon as you can. Kumbaga kung talagang kailangan mong umuwi, then uuwi ka, but you can tell yourself na I've done everything I can.
Yeah. Yeah, ay nako, okay. So, guys, good luck na lang sa inyo, yung mga nag-a-apply, I hope you find your ways kung ano to meet your end goals.
Yes.
Ay, okay. O sige, we will end this episode here. Again, maraming salamat kay Dayanara for always being here to explain to us the moment na may bagong policy change
Opo.
na
Thank you rin po, Ms. Ina,
ina-announce.
for allowing this kasi
Oo.
as many as possible na ma-reach natin na kasi po a lot of people are asking for earlier consultations. 24 hours lang po ang meron tayo sa isang araw. Hindi ko naman po
Oo.
pwedeng i-squeeze lahat sa isang araw na matkausap ko kayong lahat. But with, conversations like this, we can answer, frequently asked
Yeah.
questions and reach as many as we can.
Okay. As always, her contact information, yung kay Dayanara, will be down there at the description box if you want to book a consult with her. Okay, we will end this episode here. I will see you guys again in the next one. Thanks again, Dayanara.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye po.